to East Hampton Town Board. We are live.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the September 21st regular meeting of the East Hampton Town Board. Carol, would you read the roll call, please?
Present.
Present. Sylvia, are you with us today?
Yeah, I am, but I just can't hear Carol. Sorry.
Yeah, push on the mic.
Present.
Yes, for her. Councilmember Overby?
Present.
Councilmember Rogers?
Present.
Supervisor Van Scoyac?
Present. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This morning we have two public hearings, which will be followed by a public portion where any member of the public may address the board on any topic, and that'll be followed by resolution. But before we get started, we have our town crier here today, Mr. Hugh King.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I have some announcements, and unfortunately, they're not all great. As we all know, the parade has been canceled for this weekend. It'll be performed at another date, and the trustees have canceled their Clam and Chowder Fest celebration to October 8th. That's when that's going to be. Next weekend, however, the Fall Festival at the Mulford Farm will be going on September 30th. And on October 22nd, the Maidstone Mugwumps are going to play the Bonikers at Herrick Park in probably a softball game. They tried baseball, but there are no pitchers, unfortunately. It could last more than 3 minutes. I'm also going to give Councilwoman Overby's homework assignment. This is what she would have found if she had time to do this. It's John Howard Payne and Mary Shelley. Mary Shelley was named Mary Godwin, and she met Percy Shelley, and they eloped to the continent. Not a good idea because Percy was already married to someone else, okay? So that meant that Percy's father cut off his inheritance, and Mary's father cut off her money. So they were scrambling around, and then Percy, who can't swim, he refuses to learn how to swim, goes sailing and drowns, okay? So now Mary's back in England, and she doesn't have a lot of resources. John Howard Payne knew everybody in the theater in England because he was an actor and a playwright. So she keeps asking him for free tickets to the plays all the time. We have all these letters that pass between John Howard Payne and Mary Shelley in Home Sweet Home. She's asking for free tickets. Payne gets the tickets, and then he kind of toodles along with her, thinking something's going to happen. Well, all she does is ask questions about his best friend, Washington Irving. Okay, so Payne falls in love with Mary Shelley, but unfortunately, nothing happens. So that's what we would have found out. This is what Councilwoman Overby's report would have shown. Also, the Amagansett School won a National Blue Ribbon from the United States Department of Education. Hooray. And just because the parades are canceled and the trustees' clam contest is canceled doesn't mean you can't continue studying East Hampton history. Just go on the East Hampton Historical Society's website. They're doing tours of the Dominy House and the Moran Studios for the next couple of weeks. Okay, that's it. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Hugh.
Okay.
You.
Great to see you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. I'm out of here.
Okay, Carol, if you'd read the first public hearing notice, please, along with the COVID disclosure.
The public hearings will be held live and in person by the town board and will be available electronically by video and teleconferencing and will be televised on local TV, channel 22, and available for live stream on the LTV website. The public shall be permitted to appear in person, but may also provide comments on the matter being heard by calling 351-888-6331. Any person or party wishing to be heard with respect to the foregoing may do so in person or by agent or by attorney or by written comment addressed to the East Hampton Town Clerk, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton. Comments may also be submitted to the town clerk by email to cbrennan@ehamptonny.gov. All comments must be received by the town clerk by the date and time of the public hearing. Please check the meeting agenda posted on the town's website for any changes and updated information. Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing at Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, September 21st at 11 a.m. or as soon thereafter as this matter may be heard, to consider comments of all persons regarding the amendment of Chapter 102-14, Certificates of Occupancy of the Town Code of the town of East Hampton. An abstract of which follows: a local law amending 102-14 certificates of occupancy to require an updated certificate of occupancy be obtained upon a change in ownership of a property.
Thank you, Carol. Councilmember Rogers, would you like to give a brief intro?
Yes, thank you, Peter. First, I had received an email questioning the length of the notice. So Rob, if you would address that question, is the notice proper?
It is Section 20 of the General Municipal Law. General Home Rule Law requires 5 days notice for a change to a local law, not a 10-day period.
Thank you. With that, I'll just introduce this public hearing and the recommendation for a code change for certificates of occupancy came out of one of the discoveries that we have in the zoning amendments group. And as I said, we have 5 department heads in that group, and what we found is there is an issue in the town, and with folks getting a building permit and then leaving it open in perpetuity, and then not acknowledging what's on the property. If anything was built what's on the property, it would not have had the proper safety inspections, et cetera, that we do on properties that conform to the building permit conditions. And then also, if there's additions and swimming pools, et cetera, on the property, we don't know if again, that they were constructed safely or have the proper fencing, and then they also are not being equitably assessed. So with that, I'd like to introduce Joe Palermo, our Chief Building Inspector, and then I think Tina Lagaren may add some comments as the Assistant Planning Director as well.
And then we'll take public comment on the proposal.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning, Joe.
Morning, Joe.
So as Councilwoman Rogers mentioned, that this has come out of our code committee meeting. Being in the department for 7 years, I've seen, what got me to this point was we have a file cabinet full of inspections, CO update inspections that are processed, scheduled. We go out and do an inspection, we come back, it goes in a file, and then it dies there. Meanwhile, the houses are changing hands, and we have a lot of those numerous properties that have violations, open building permits. There may be structures or on the property or other items that were built without the benefit of a building permit. So what we'd like to do is get everything as much as we can into compliance with the building and zoning codes. Clearing regulations is another thing that pops up a lot. I think it'd be a great idea to have a mandatory COO at the point of ownership transfer, okay? Legalizing structures, correcting violations, renewing building permits. Also, when we're legalizing a structure that was built without the benefit of a building permit, by code, that fee would need to be doubled. So the object is to get these properties cleaned up as best that we can. Staffing wise, actually, I spoke to, speaking to the tax assessor to try to get an idea of how many transfers of ownership there are in town. excluding the transfers for estate purposes, the assessor claims that you're going to see at least 100 per month transfers, just right out of the chute. As far as the building department goes, yes, that'll be a lot more inspections for the building department, but if we're looking at 100 and breaking it down, 25 a week, 5 a day, it's only 1.5 extra inspections a day, which we could handle right now. There were some concerns about our inspections being way out, maybe holding up a sale or having some of the interest rates going up and down. But as of today, if you call the building department and schedule an inspection, no matter what it is, CO update, final inspection, walkthrough, whatever, we're about 1 week out on inspections. Thanks to the town, we've built up the staff. I've been with the town 7 years. Most of the time, we were kind of shorthanded. You guys, to your credit, answered our call. We have right now, aside from myself, we have 4 certified building inspectors ready to go out any day. And we just last week finally hired our building permits examiner, who will be taking his code classes starting in October. So should we come into a situation where there's 200 a week, we'll be prepared to step in and handle that workload. So
Great. Thank you, Joe.
I think that was it. You have any questions or anyone?
Maybe you'll stick around if there are any
Oh, sure.
public comments that might require
Okay.
some
I'll be here.
discussion from you.
Thank you, Joe.
All right, thank you.
And I'll just ask Tina Legren to also step up. Tina is the Assistant Director of the Planning Department. Just wanted to give some perspective on what happens before a transfer if the paperwork for the property is not in order.
Morning, Tina.
Good morning, council members. Thanks for the opportunity to speak on this issue, which the planning department views as an important step forward for the town. Broadly, you guys already covered this, but I want to emphasize that having a CO is an important safety measure for a property, as well as ensuring that it's in accordance with town code, state fire code, et cetera. From the planning department perspective, the first step in our review process is to determine what's legal on the property per the CO records. It's a complicating factor both for the department and the applicant when the CO doesn't reflect all the improvements on the property. It requires more coordination, additional layers of review, and can add time to the review process. So the benefit of this measure is to ensure that when COs get updated at a point of sale, it's a clean start for these properties, and in the long run will streamline their review process moving forward. Another thing I want to talk about is the impacts we've seen to buyers. These are folks who may have seized a real estate opportunity where they didn't consider the state of the approvals on the property, only to learn that they purchased a property that had several outstanding approvals that were never fully legalized with a CO. These individuals have had to pay fees and then struggled to legalize the property in as quick a fashion as they could. Meanwhile, the prior owner had reaped the benefits of those improvements for long periods while not complying with town regulations or paying their fair share of taxes under the code. Another item to consider is that this bolsters our commitment to protecting the environment. For properties that are illegally clear-cut, over-cleared, this measure will identify that as well. It will be able to help us rectify the matter quicker and for a larger swath of properties than we currently capture in the process. Another important aspect of this is that we do see a lot of properties where there's no building permits or COs for long periods of time. So this means that the entities are not, using legalized structures or paying the requisite property taxes associated with all those improvements. For many locations where you can't see them for the road, we've got no ability to capture this kind of issue in our current review process. Meanwhile, higher visibility or smaller parcels are doing the appropriate steps to get their approvals in line. I think it's also noteworthy that many banks require this as part of the mortgage process. So this measure is really only extending that requirement to other owners who may not need a mortgage, or that particular bank didn't require this measure. So it closes a loophole for those who are trying to sidestep town regulations and are also getting to sidestep their property taxes. Another thing we noted, I think, is the research that you found, Councilmember Rogers, is that many localities on the East End already require this. So this measure is not uncommon, and we're really just coming in line with those folks. So to finish up, I feel the positive benefits of this will be numerous: providing safe and compliant sites, protecting buyers, and enable the town to level the playing field when it comes to taxes.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Let's hear from the public. Do we have anyone signed up to speak at this public hearing, Carol? Is there anyone here wish? Yes, Jane. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. For the record, my name is Jane Meering. I live on Ocean Lane in Amagansett. Full disclosure, I am a member of the working group that raised and supports this change, but I am here today as an individual citizen and a resident to speak to this public hearing. And just as a little bit of context, I do want to share a bit of my experience around this as context for my comments. So I live next door to a property that has been out of compliance with the building permit and C of O code regulations for quite some time. Our properties are very small, so we really impact each other. They did work on their property knowingly without the proper building permit, let alone what would have been a required NRSP and wetland variance as necessary. Work that has not only compromised my quality of life and peaceful enjoyment of my own property, but perhaps more important, has compromised important dune land natural resources on their own parcel with extra clearing, and also encroaches meaningfully and compromises wetlands on my property that I work really hard, sometimes to my detriment, to protect, because a lot of the things they did were only feet from those wetlands and property line. And yet for nearly 3 years now, their abundant guests continue to occupy the property even without resolution of the violations. And as I understand it, still no C of O. And I've noticed in the last few weeks, they put their property for sale. So leaving that background aside, I'm here today to state that conceptually I support this proposed amendment to Chapter 102.14. I believe this change puts East Hampton Town consistent not only with age-old best practices, but also code of other relevant municipalities and jurisdictions. Moreover, ensuring updated C of O on properties in town per basic code is important for safety, has already been established, 2, energy efficiency, such as passing HERS inspections, 3, protecting quality of life for neighbors and neighborhoods, 4, protecting natural resources, and dealing especially with the rampant, persistent, destructive trend of overclearing of trees, important natural and native vegetation, dune land, ground cover, and then 5, fairness. With respect to fairness, many of our citizens, residents abide with standard processes and the rules around building permits and C of Os, and it's not always easy, and they don't always, know the rules, and they have to navigate it. And the people who abide accept that sometimes or often it means that when they add improvements and expansions and amenities to their lots, it means that their property taxes are reassessed. So it's simply not fair for all our code-abiding citizens who take process seriously to have to assume that, quote, burden while others evade it all. So, but even with my wholehearted support for this change conceptually, I do want to stress, to conclude, one particular point. I've heard some positioning of this amendment that this is a way to kind of streamline legalizing unpermitted and out of code changes and structures on properties. I know sometimes there's a need for legitimate relief. You've got builder's errors and people really, really didn't know. However, the default position of the town and the building department and boards cannot be to just look at this as a way to facilitate legalizing unpermitted activities, because that only reinforces that mindset: ask for forgiveness and not permission. We need to break that mindset and to engender a mindset of compliance for the town, to enforce rules, to fine people really pretty assertively, not just fees, but, when, in order to deter those who willingly disregard the rules and create real consequences. And the part of that is to enforce no CO, no occupancy rule. So thank you for taking on this change, and thank you for considering my comments today.
Thank you, Jane. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak to this public hearing? Jason, do we have any callers on the line who might want to speak to this public hearing?
Yes, we do. We have callers on the line. Let me just make sure that they want to speak to this public hearing, though. I'll unmute the first caller. Hello, caller ending 8978. You are on the air. Can you hear me?
I am on the air. Hi there. Yes. Hi there. This is Jackie Lowy, and I did want to speak briefly on this. It was good to hear Joe Palermo's points with respect to the timing on this, and I just wanted to reiterate that the timing on this is pretty critical. Right now, I would say most all of my deals do require updated COs as conditions of closing. So I think most of the deals that are going through do that upon transfer title. However, right now there is about a 1 week wait for COs inspections, but not very long ago there was a month to 2 month wait for CO inspections, and then another month after that for the certificate to be issued. And I think that if you do pursue this broader...
Pardon me, Jackie, we lost you there for a second. Jackie, can you hear us? Hey, there you are. Hey, we lost you for the last 5 seconds or so.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know. I don't know where you lost me, but my point is...
You left off at 1 month. You left off at about 1 month for previous...
Oh, okay. Well, basically, right now, the deals that I'm doing, there's about a 1 week wait for inspections, and that's terrific. Not very long ago, we were waiting a month to 2 months for inspections, and that's just unacceptable. So the building department does a terrific job. They work very hard, but I think that as you push this through, you need to put in place a timeline and then have options for relief for homeowners who very often are in financial duress when they're selling their properties and, can't wait 3 months for an updated CO. I have had that circumstance not very long ago. So again, kudos to the building department for all of their good work. But if you do proceed with this, I think you need two things. Number one, you need standards and reasonable timelines for completing the inspection. And number two, I think you do need some mechanism for relief for people who don't have the financial means to pay to do all of this. I do have sellers that are senior citizens that have lived here for a long time in financial duress, selling their homes, and the increased fees on this are a real burden for them as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Is there anyone else on the line who wishes to address the board on this topic?
Yeah, I'm unmuting the next caller. Hello, caller ending 2148.
Okay?
Yes, we hear you perfectly fine. You're on the air.
Yes.
Please state your name.
Great, thank you. It's Peter Laurinaitis. I purchased a year and a half or so, maybe 2 years ago, a cottage in Amagansett. And just, I wanted very quickly to share my experience, and there's some takeaways, I guess, for you to consider. I purchased it in an estate situation. It was a decrepit property. It was falling down. It was overgrown. The pool was a black swamp. And there was not an updated CO because there was some renovations that the homeowner undertook 30 years ago and never closed it out. So I purchased the property. My bank allowed me to purchase it without requiring the CO to be updated. The CO would never have been updated by that party, the estate, given the time that had lapsed and all that. So I've been going through the process to get everything updated earnestly and clean up the property. But I got to tell you, it is difficult, and we need to make sure that we don't create more burden for homeowners that are trying to comply. I am trying to comply, but as I've gone through the process, and a lot of this was done 30, 40 years ago by the prior owner, but like the fence was too tall, or the driveway gate was too tall or too narrow. The pool equipment was a foot or two too close to the property line, but still 8 or 10 feet away from the property line. There was a patio that was 10 by 10 that didn't show up in the prehistoric, surveys, and so I had to go through a process to legalize that. So I just got to tell you, there's big stuff that's important, but it also can be very difficult for a homeowner to do all the little things to comply. I put in new fences, they're lower. I had to get a new driveway gate that's wider for a fire truck. I had to now try to legalize this patio that was there 30, 40 years. So I think what you're doing is noble, but I think there's a lot of tick-tacky, little small things that I got to tell you, it's a year later and I'm still trying to legalize my property to the CO. So we got to make sure we're not encumbering this too much, the process, where the little guy that's trying to do the right thing, bring it current, is feeling like he's just playing whack-a-mole with, updating this or fixing that, and things that have been in place for 30, 40 years that I would have thought might have been grandfathered. So anyway, I think what you're doing is noble and it makes sense, but we got to make sure we streamline it and not make it a difficult maze for homeowners to go through to legalize it if they're trying to. Thank you.
Thank you, Peter. We appreciate your comments, and thanks for taking the time to call in today.
We have no other callers on the line.
Anyone else in the room like to address the board on this matter? I'll entertain a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Carol, if you'd read the last public hearing notice for today, Montauk Fire District Agreement.
Notice is hereby given that the town board of the town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing at Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, New York, East Hampton, New York, or as otherwise set forth herein on Thursday, September 21st, 11 a.m. or soon thereafter, as this matter may be heard, for the purpose of considering a proposed contract with the Montauk Fire District for the Montauk Fire Protection District for fire protection and emergency ambulance service to be furnished by the town on behalf of the Montauk Fire District for the calendar year 2024, 25, and 26 upon the following general terms. The Montauk Fire District shall answer and attend all calls in said Montauk Fire Protection District and shall furnish firefighting vehicles and equipment and firefighting personnel. The Montauk Fire District shall furnish emergency ambulance service, including vehicles and equipment and ambulance personnel, to the Montauk Fire Protection District. For such services during the 12-month period, the Montauk Fire District shall be paid the total sum for each calendar year as follows: $498,000 for January 1, 2024 through December 31st, 2024, $547,800 for January 1, 25 through December 31, 25, $602,500 from January 1, 26 through December 31, 26. Any person or party wishing to be heard with respect to the foregoing may do so in person, by agent, by attorney, or by written comment addressed to the East Hampton Town Clerk, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton. Comments may also be submitted to the Town Clerk by email to cbrennan@ehamptonny.gov. All comments must be received by the Town Clerk by the date and time of the public hearing.
Thank you, Carol. Is there anyone here who wishes to address the board on this public hearing? Jason, do we have any callers on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
I'll entertain a motion to close.
Motion to close?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried. We'll now move on to public comments. Any member of the public may address the board on any topic. We ask that you please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Is there anyone here who wishes to address the board at this time? Jason, do we have any callers on the line?
We have no callers on the line.
Okay, we move on then with resolutions. Kathy, I believe you have the first resolutions to offer.
I do. Starting with Resolution 2023-1262, it's approval of the warrant. Claims total $4,623,675.98, and the utility warrant totals $59,106.38.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
1263 is,
Sylvia, are you there?
Yes,
And how did you vote on that last resolution? We didn't quite hear you.
I said aye.
Okay, thank you. Carol wants to know if she can make that part of the record.
Got it. Thanks.
1263 is a budget modification for the assessor's office. We're moving $300 from travel, conferences, and dues to computer software.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
1260.
Passed and carried.
1264 is a notice to bidders EH 23-042. It's permits for the town clerk. Bid is available 9/21 and it's due back on October 5th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 1265 is to retain LK McLean Associates Professional Engineering Services for the Town Hall entry system. And this is to provide the town with professional engineering services of design and construction support to make the Town Hall entry system project ADA compliant. And the cost will not exceed the total sum of $18,200.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passed and carried.
1266 is a resolution for authorizing food catering fees and entertainment, a DJ fee for the 49th anniversary of the Senior Nutrition Program. The event will be catered by Smoke and Wolf Barbecue with dessert provided by Dreesen's Catering and entertainment provided by Sounds Unlimited Entertainment. And fees will be paid from the Senior Nutrition subcontract costs with a total cost not to exceed $5,600. And Carol, we just have to amend at the bottom where it says financial impact. That number should be not to exceed $5,600.
Second as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution 1267 is for our Wellness 60 Plus program. It's a new yoga class, and we approve wellness 60 plus wellness chair and floor yoga classes to be provided by Stacy Hessler, yoga instructor. The fee for each class session to cost $125 with the total cost not to exceed $3,875. And this comes out of the programs for the aging subcontract costs.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passed and carried.
1268 is a notice to bidders EH 23-036. This is for the Montauk Playhouse Aquatic Center. The bid is available on September 28th and due back on November 9th. A pre-bid meeting and site visit will be held at 11 a.m. on Thursday, October 19th at the project site, 240 Edgemere Street, Montauk. Attendance is strongly suggested.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1269 is approval of various special events that occurred in September, and these two are retroactive. We have the Farm to Table Dinner at the East Hampton Farm Museum that was held on September 10th from 1 to 4. And we have the Segru Aspinall Wedding, which was held at a residence in East Hampton, and that was on September 16th from 4 to 11 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried.
1270 is approval of various special events for September and October. We have the St. Therese celebration of the Feast of St. Therese, and that is Sunday, October 1st, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., with a rain date on Monday, October 2nd. The Event Power Mighty Man Triathlon, swim, bike, and run event at Lions Field and parking area and various town roads in Montauk. That's to be held Sunday, October 1st from 4:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Montauk Chamber of Commerce, it's their annual fall festival on the Montauk Green. That's Saturday and Sunday, October 6th and 7th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We've got the Tyler Project. They're holding their
That's
Tyler
6 and 7, isn't it?
10 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm sorry, did
Chamber.
I say?
Chamber of Commerce, isn't it 10, 7, 10, 8? Not 6 and 7?
I'm sorry, 7 and 8. October 7th and October 8th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Tyler Project, they're holding their memorial car cruise, and that starts and ends at the Amagansett Fire Department on Sunday, October 8th from 2:30 to 4:30, and they're having the Tyler Valchek Memorial Car Show at the Amagansett Fire Department, again on Sunday, October 8th from 9 a.m. to 2:30. And lastly, we have Amber Waves Farm October Feast fundraiser, and that's on Saturday, October 14th from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Passed and carried.
2023-1271 is to approve publications for Drug Take Back Day. It's a newspaper effort that we're holding, and this authorizes 2 one-quarter-page newspaper ads, an English version and a Spanish version, to be published in the October 26th edition of the East Hampton Press, Sag Harbor Express, and the East Hampton Star. And this is out of the Youth Task Force line in an amount not to exceed $1,650.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1272 is to retain DB Bennett Consulting Engineer to get an updated building condition assessment for the former CDCH building. The town had retained DB Bennett Consulting Engineer in August of 2016 to provide a conditions assessment, and we're now wish to obtain an updated assessment to include site elements, exterior building elements, interior building elements, plumbing systems, mechanical systems, and electrical systems, at an amount not to exceed $2,500.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
I'd like to offer Resolution 2023-1273. This is just to approve the 2024 agreement with the Village of Sag Harbor and East Hampton Road Protection District. We had the public hearing on Thursday, August 17th, 2023. The fire protection services would be for 12 months for the Village of Sag Harbor. Shall be paid the sum of $41,784.97, and for ambulance. And the village also should be paid for $25,025.49. And the fire department shall be paid a direct sum of $8,673.97. And the ambulance corps should be also paid in a sum of $2,871.27 for the total cost of the protection district for $66,810.61.
46.
Second.
Where's that one?
46 cents.
46 cents.
And we have a
Second.
second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1274 is appoint part-time recreational aide Zach Noggle, hourly rate is $16.50 for effective September 22nd.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1275 is the termination of a seasonal park employee for 2023, effective 8/8/2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
1276 is termination of seasonal recreational employees for 2023. I want to thank them all very much for their assistance with the summer season. Names, positions, and dates listed below.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1277 is a budget modification for Highway Department. This is for the road surfacing projects. We're increasing the revenue budget line for appropriated unreserved fund balance in the amount of $421,000. We're also increasing the expenditure lines for other equipment in the amount of $100,000, subcontractor costs for snow for $28,000, parts subcontractors for $30,000, road surfacing for $163,000, and road materials for $100,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1278 is a budget modification for Parks Department, bringing $1,500 from health insurance to the same amount for general repairs.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1279 is a budget modification for aquaculture, where we're bringing $6,500 from part-time salaries to the same amount for light and power.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1280 is a budget modification for sanitation, where we're bringing $18,000 from general repairs and $8,200 from testing and fees, moving to the amount to budget lines for motor vehicle repairs in the amount of $18,000, outside professional in the amount of $6,200, and other equipment in the amount of $2,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
1281 is RFP EH 2023-111. This is a license to utilize agricultural land at 22 Farmhouse Lane, East Hampton. The proposal is available September 28th, 2023. The proposal is due back on October 26th, 2023. Please contact our purchasing department at 631-324-4183 for more information.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1282 is a notice of bidders for EH 23043. This is for the Parsons Place bioswales repair. This is a rebid. Bid is available on 9/28/2023. The bid is due back on 10/12/2023. Again, please contact our purchasing department at 631-324-4183.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1283 is a notice of bidders for EH 23044. This is a pickup truck from Marine Patrol. The bid is available on September 28th, 2023. And bid is due back on October 12th, 2023. Again, for further information, please contact our purchasing department.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
1284 is a reject bid EH 23035. This is for the Parsons Place bioswale repair.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
1285 is authorized the supervisor to execute an amendment grant contract with the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, where they awarded the grant in the amount of $399,997.83 for the shellfish hatchery improvements. We're extending the date on that term limit through March 31st, 2024.
2020 or 2024?
It started in 2020, but we're extending the term until March 31st, 2024.
All right, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
Resolution 2023-1286 is schedule a public hearing and notice of public hearing for the revocable trust of Robert E. Isaacson. This is a scenic and conservation easement at 233 Girard Drive in Springs. The reviewing agency is the Zoning Board of Appeals, and the public hearing is Thursday, October 5th, 2023 at 2 p.m.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
Resolution 1287 is to authorize acquisition of 82 Bo-Orsman Road in East Hampton. The town is notified that the estate of James P. Daly is current owner of the home constructed under the town's affordable housing program located at 82 Bo-Orsman Road in East Hampton. Wish to sell the home. The town has the right of first purchase and a right of recapture equal to 60% of the appraised value of the land. And whereas Patricia Parsons has appraised the house and property at $925,000 and the land alone at $625,000, whereas the town is entitled to a 3% administrative fee when it markets the home under the affordable housing program, and whereas the town is desirous of maintaining the house as part of its affordable housing program and acquire 100% interest in the property, now therefore be it resolved that the supervisor is authorized to repurchase the house currently owned by the estate of James P. Daly, located at 82 Bo-Orsman Road in East Hampton, according to the formula contained in the covenants and restrictions, at a cost of $533,500 and appraised value at $925,000, and subtracting 60% of the land value, $375,000, 3% administrative fees at $16,500, plus closing costs as determined by the town attorney. And we will repurchase to 99-year lease for $300,000, investing $233,500 in the property for affordable housing purposes for the Community Housing Fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
Resolution 1288 is a budget modification in housing. Revenue for Section 8 operating reserves in the amount of $3,610 and increase the expenditure budget for computer software to $3,610.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Thank you, Sylvia.
And I have a resolution 1289, and this is a notice of public hearing to amend Chapter 255, Article 1, General Provisions of the East Hampton Town Code. And this is where the town board directs a public hearing shall be held on October 5th at 2 p.m. or soon after, as can be heard, at East Hampton Town Hall, 159 Panago Road, East Hampton, New York, to hear any and all persons either for or against a local law entitled "A Local Law Providing for the Amendment of Chapter 255, Article 1, General Provisions of the East Hampton Town Code to amend Section 255-1-11, known as purposes." And the entire text of the amendments are in the notice.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, passed and carried.
I also have Resolution 1290. This is for a grant of a scenic and conservation easement to schedule a public hearing. This is for pursuant of the general municipal law. The town of East Hampton will hold a public hearing, Town Hall Meeting Room, 159 Pinnacle Road, East Hampton, on Thursday, October 5th, 2023, at 2 p.m. or soon after, to hear comments from all persons wishing to be heard on the following grant of a scenic and conservation easement to the town. The grantor is 22 Shore Road LLC. It is a scenic and conservation easement. Dated, the easement is August 21st, 2023. The location is 2022 Shore Road, Amagansett, Suffolk County Tax Map number 300-131-8-7, and the reviewing agency of the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
Resolution 1221 is to appoint part-time environmental aide, and this is, be it resolved that Samantha Shore is appointed to the part-time position of environmental aide in the Natural Resources Department at an hourly rate of $23.81 to be paid biweekly from the appropriate budget account, retroactive to September 11th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried.
1292 is a modification for the Adjudication Bureau, and that is moving $1,000 from part-time salaries and health insurance in the amount of $2,000 to the budget line subcontractor costs in the amount of $3,000.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
1293 is to retain LK McLean Associates Engineering Services for the East Hampton Justice Court ADA witness stand. And this is where LK McLean submitted a proposal to provide renovation plans, coordinate with Suffolk County contractor, obtain prevailing wage from New York State, coordinate work with contractor and courts, contract administration and inspection as required, set forth in their proposal from September 8th, 2023, at a cost not to exceed $17,600.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 1294 is to schedule a public hearing and notice public hearing agreement with the Amagansett Fire Department for the Promised Land Fire District for 2024. That will be held on Thursday, October 5th at 2 p.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard. And this is for services during the 12-month period. They'll be paid the sum of $590,849.09 for 2024, payable on or before March 24th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 1295 is to authorize a lease agreement for equipment with the FAA. And that will be held, that hearing on October 19th, 2023 at 11 a.m. or soon thereafter, as the matter may be heard.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. 1296 is termination of part-time East Hampton Town Police Department employees. The following names and dates are listed below, and we thank them for their service during the season.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passed and carried. 1297 is Robert Kania to attend Suffolk County Police Academy, and that will begin on October 2nd, 2023. Robert Kania's unpaid administrative leave will end October 1st, 2023, and he will be paid on an annual salary of $59,734.42, effective October 2nd, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 1298 is status change for seasonal police officer 2023, and that is for James Brzezinski, and it's effective October 15th, 2023.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 1299 is to amend Resolution 2023 1231 Employee Emergency Response Policy to read as follows. Employees are further advised that no service award program credits are allowed by their ambulance member organization for such responses, that municipal employees may not be granted retirement credit for both New York State retirement system and their volunteer length of service award program, LOSAP, as per New York State general municipal law. Volunteer members of fire department organizations are permitted to be credited.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Resolution 2023-1300 is a budget modification for the airport, and that's to increase the appropriated unreserved fund balance in the amount of $270,000 and to increase outside professional in the same amount.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 2023-1301 is to authorize refunds in New York State 529 college savings programs, and those refunds are to various persons in various amounts as listed in the resolution.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. 1302 is to approve labor rate change proposal number 2. Town of East Hampton LED lighting project, and this is for Gunzo construction management, and that is to relating to 10 post top lighting fixtures, and that increase from $698.50 to $1,390.40 is an increase of $691. And do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried.
I have Resolution 2023-1303. This authorized agreement with Suffolk County Water Authority, the John Behan Memorial Park. They're going to be installing water at the park, and the town of East Hampton is going to be renovating, restoring a disturbed public right-of-way in the vicinity of 44 Miller Lane East.
Do you have a second?
Second.
West, 44 Miller Lane West, I apologize.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution 1304 is to retain consultants to assist the planning department with pending applications. Whereas due to the shortage of personnel in the planning department and the time and attention necessary to review pending applications before the planning, architectural review, and zoning boards, the planning department has determined that additional resources are necessary. And the town board wishes to retain the on-call planning services of outside consultants to maintain an effective and timely review of applications pending before the planning, architectural review, and zoning boards. Whereas AKRF and H2M have submitted proposals to provide on-call assistance to the planning department in order to support the review of applications to the planning, architectural review, and zoning boards, and the town board has reviewed their proposals and wishes to retain such consultants for such purposes. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board hereby retains the following consultants: AKRF at the hourly rates ranging from $140 per hour for technical 1 to 320 hours for senior proposal dated September the 19th, 2023, and H2M hourly rates at $65 an hour for a student intern to $260 an hour, contained in their proposal dated September 19th, 2023. The above referenced rate schedules in an aggregate sum or not to exceed $40,000 or $20,000 for each consultant.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Resolution 1305 is provisional appointments to traffic control specialists for East Hampton Town Police Department to amend Resolution 2023-1252. Resolved, Joseph Chaco and Paul Gonzalez hereby appointed on a provisional basis full-time traffic control specialists, the town police department, an hourly rate of $24.08, grade 19 starting step, which is $50,089.31 annually for 40-hour work week, and that's upon proper submission of time records.
Second.
And retroactive September 11th, 2023. We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Resolution 1306 is to solicit comments on a draft telecommunications plan. There will be a public hearing held on October 19th, 2023 at 11 a.m. And that plan will be available for review at the clerk's office or online at the town website link.
Second.
In the resolution.
Can I call for discussion?
Sure.
So will we be having a work session then, discussion, where we hear the comments from the planning board? Because the planning board reviewed and we haven't discussed or heard their comments yet. And I would think we'd have to hear their comments before we go
So
to
we've
another
received
public
their
hearing.
comments. They've been circulated to the board. Whether or not we would have to have a public work session to discuss them, I'm not aware that there's any requirement to do so.
I don't think you'd have to have a work session on it.
I think, they, if you have specific issues that you'd like to raise or comment on them, then I think, letting us know, we could decide whether or not we want to discuss them.
What was my understanding that they made comments and then Cityscape was responding with a memo or a letter responding to their comments, and I haven't seen that.
That's not my understanding. It's just, it's part of the process where a planning board, prior to adoption of any changes, would review those comments, and if there's any interested members to make any changes to the plan, that they would be submitted. I don't know if that's the case, if you have any specific changes you'd like to request or not. If so, we probably should discuss them in, open session and a work session prior to the hearing. That hearing, again, is scheduled for October 19th at 11 a.m. And this is the second public hearing, by the way, which is necessary when you're adopting changes to the comprehensive plan. Normally, it would just be one hearing, one and done. Okay.
You have a second.
So, we have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. That concludes our meeting for September 21st. I hope everyone has a wonderful September 21st evening.
Now it's time to jump up and down.
I've got to make a motion.
Do you have a motion to close?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to go into exec session to discuss litigation, leases and contracts and personnel.
We have to kill the dance buzz there.
Sorry.
Was there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passed and carried. Hit it, Jason.
Take us.
That's new.